Hello, welcome to TransTalk. Today's subject will be how I came to know I was trans. It would be first a great place to start when I was very little. Like I mentioned, maybe this is the first time I mentioned it, but I likely mentioned it before. It's been a while since I did a video. But I am high-functioning autistic. I had a developmental language delay, so that's when I first had trouble with pronouns. It was the last thing that I learned, and I was about 4 years old, and I still wouldn't know how to use he, she, it. I would name things according to how they acted. Like if it acted masculine, I'd call it a he, and if it acted feminine, I'd call it a she. And if it acted like neither, I'd call it an it, which I found some kids thought that was very rude of me to do, but I just had it mixed up. I didn't know at the time, because I was little, I didn't know at the time that it meant that people called each other he or she depending on what genitalia they had. So that was a real surprise to me, because when I was little, of course no one ever showed me their genitalia, and I didn't have, and you know what, to me, even to this day, there's no difference in facial structure between males and females. The only phenotype difference I see is a mustache, and that's about, and or a beard, and that's about it. That's like the only thing. So when I was little, I called myself a he because I saw myself as more masculine than feminine, and I refer to all my nurses, all the people who were teaching me how to speak, all my daycare providers, I called them mommy, because I didn't see a mom as somebody who was the only one. I saw the mom as taking care of me. So I had a lot of language delays that way. I just did not know how to name things properly. So that was when people first noticed that, I was different in how I perceived gender and gender differences. The other thing that they noticed was I called myself a boy, and I'd be like swarming all over the place, and then they were like, "You little girl, get down." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm not a girl, I'm a boy." So they didn't know what to think. So they shared with my parents. My parents were like, "Well, she does this all the time, don't worry about it." And if they only knew that I did mean it, and I sincerely meant it, and I never ever grew out of it, I think my life would have been a lot easier. But my parents, they were more concerned about treating my autism than looking into this, why I kept calling myself a boy. I also knew that I was another event was when I was in first grade or kindergarten, and I really liked this girl, and I actively said to her, "I really like you. I really like you." And everyone, because I live in Riverside County in California, which is a very conservative place, and I went to a Grove Center Elementary School, which was in a conservative neighborhood in San Bernardino. So that was, to them, it was like, whoa. And they told me that, "Well, you can't like girls because you're a girl." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm a boy." They just didn't, it didn't sit well with them. And I remember, I guess I blocked this memory, but I remember just something happened. Either someone hit me or something, or someone yelled at me really bad, or someone hurt me in some way, and from that point on I kept it to myself, and I never called myself a she. I called myself a kid or a person. I never identified as a little girl. I'm going to show you a picture I have. This was me when I had the crush on that other little girl in class. No, I wasn't sexually attracted to her, okay, because I was a little kid, and to this day, I'm attracted to people, not sexually attracted to them. So, in my mind, I was straight because I thought that I was a male. And, so I guess after that day, I kept it to myself. My parents also noticed that if my hair grew too long, I refused to take care of it, or I actually went to get their scissors and I cut it short like a boy's, so they could never have my hair long. I would rip dresses off, I'd scream and throw dresses, I'd walk around naked in the middle of public because I'd take off all my clothes because I said I wasn't going to wear a freaking dress. And I was very strong-willed as a child, and I would not allow anyone to define me that way. I was like, you know what, if I'm going to have to be a girl, I'll be a tom girl, a tomboy, whatever it is. So everyone thought that I was just a very intense tomboy, and that wasn't it at all. I always saw myself as a male. Always, always. It never changed to this day. So one day I actually, it was when I was growing up that I identified more as transgender, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to live my whole entire life as being perceived as a woman. What happened as I got older was that I would have something called gender dysphoria. So like where my breasts are and down there, I would feel like either the breasts weren't supposed to be there, or I would feel like somebody amputated my penis off, and I was castrated, and you know, I just I was missing something that was supposed to be there, and I still have this to this day, the gender dysphoria. So I see transgenderism as more of a way to treat a medical condition known as gender dysphoria. So that's the other reason why I identify as trans, because I want to get treatment for this medical problem. So I identify as trans now for that purpose, to be more with my mind, to be more in tune with my body. And a lot of people don't understand how this happens, but if you can take anything about how I knew I was trans out of this video, how I knew I was trans video, this video, it's not a choice, and often this starts with transgender people, this starts as soon as we're born. In my case, it started as soon as I was consciously aware of myself and my surroundings. So it's very unfair when people force you to live in a role that you just cannot play. So remember that the body is not an acceptable way to define somebody. It's what's in here, and in what's in here that counts. And if people keep judging others that way, then we're never going to get past any of the bad stuff we have right now, like sexism, racism, nationalism, ethnic genocide, things of that sort, because we judge. And I hope that this video would help you understand how people that are transgender actually are aware, and it's not just a phase. It stays with us our whole entire lives. So it's only fair that we get treatment for it, and we are not attacked, or we're not belittled for getting treatment for a lifelong condition. Would you tell somebody with cancer just to snap out of it, that it's wrong, that they can get out of it? You can't. So, thank you for listening.